welcome to part 2 of our top 3 horror movies with Mattie. The guy in the middle there is Liam, and the guy joining us for this wonderful adventure is Kevin Shields, special guest star, movie extraordinaire, horror buff. So his movies are probably going to be violent, gore-filled rape fests.
I think they remade the theme song.
Right.
It was like what they did with Predators. Now, even though Predators, as a Predator film, is fairly bollocks, it's actually a standalone, decent enough sci-fi romp.
I enjoyed Predators. I did.
Yeah, it's fun. But
and I don't like the director, Rodriguez. I'm not a huge. Yeah.
That wasn't Rodriguez that did it.
No, he produced it. Rodriguez produced it. Which turned me off when I heard he was producing it. I was like, ah, fuck. I'm not a huge. Some of his stuff is good. Some of it's rubbish.
I don't like his kids' movies. They're all fucking appalling.
Yeah.
I'll give him Sin City and that's it.
Yeah.
Sin City. Desperado and Emma actually are fun.
Well, no.
Dumb, but they're fun.
I'm thinking of Machete and shit like that.
Yeah.
I like Machete purely because it's it's garbage at the same
exactly.
time. Like
Machete has its place. Yeah.
Like I'd never sit down and go, I want a good, solid action movie. Like you're just after watching Terminator, and you're sitting there and going, I want something that's gonna fucking change my life. And you put on Machete, you're gonna go, this is the worst fucking pile of shit I've ever sat through.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting down going, I want to see something outlandish, over the top, and like a grindhouse film,
yeah,
you're gonna sit down and watch Machete.
That's it. Machete knows what it is. It doesn't
pretend to be. I will never again utter the words. I think I'll sit down and watch Machete. I would rather take Machete to be dick than fucking watch that film again.
I had the feeling the film will hurt a bit less.
I genuinely don't think so. I hate that film so much. Although, actually, a funny little story about Machete as well. I had a customer come back with that film because the first, 5-10 minutes are in Spanish, subtitled.
Mm.
She came back with the film and then she said, I don't want to watch this film. I was like, why? She goes, it's subtitled. I was like, no, it's not. She goes, yeah, it is. The first 10 minutes, there's subtitles. And I was like, well, yeah, no, there's subtitles at the start because the people are speaking Spanish. Well, do I speak Spanish? I was like, did you watch the rest of it? She goes, no. I was like, so you stopped after 10 minutes because there were subtitles? I was like, yeah. She goes, I was like, yeah, but if you kept going for like another 5 minutes, you would have seen English. No, if I wanted to read, I'd get a book. And I was like, you are the reason that cancer exists.
Yeah. Don't even try and pretend to me that you can read. Yes.
Yeah. I hate that. I fucking hate that. It's like people who talk about the Hunger Games. Watch Battle Royale. It's the same movie.
Yeah.
They're films that you can't understand them, so they make it accessible to you by allowing you to understand what they're saying. Yes. Arsehole, I hope she's fucking smouldering in a car wreck.
Oh, I just hate them. I'm not even gonna rant. It's just.
But the thing is, like, I'm surprised she did last 10 minutes. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, like, if you're gonna sit there for 10 minutes fuming, absolutely fuming, angry, would it not occur to you to give up after the first 2 minutes? But if you've gone 10 minutes, why don't you fast forward? Why don't you skip a couple of chapters and see if they're still talking Spanish in 20 minutes time? And then when you see them speaking English, you say, okay, now I understand. I just have to sit through another couple of minutes of subtitles and then we get to the main. But I mean, who picks up Machete? Who sees that DVD, right? And looks at it and says, oh yeah, I think I'll try that. And then is really picky about subtitles. I don't understand if it was a fucking Michael Fassbender romantic blading bullshit film and you got subtitles, you'd be like, what the, this isn't what I expected. But when you see a film like that clearly looks like it's not, it's not mainstream. It's a weird film,
My question is,
Moron.
Who picks up a cover that has Danny Trejo's big face on it? Danny Trejo written in words, right? Michelle Rodriguez, Robert Rodriguez goes, do you know what, this is probably in English. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? And then it's well annoying because you get people coming in going, oh, subtitle films, what's the point? Why do they even release subtitle films? And I'm like, what do you mean, why do they release subtitle films? Different countries make movies. It's not just America that makes movies. You know that, yeah? There's people in Japan with cameras making films.
Yeah.
What do you mean, so everyone in the world should learn English just because you're a thick cunt that doesn't bother his arse reading? You fucking dick. The best films I've ever watched were all subtitle films. Old Boy, Lady Vengeance, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, fucking Battle Royale. Just go fucking kill yourself, you d-bag. The best films I've ever seen have been subtitled, and I hope you die of AIDS. I fucking hate it. It's one of the most irritating. I've had people come up going, is this film subtitled? Yeah. and they walk off and put it back. And it's like, that is, and they did it with, like, oh boy, they did it with I Saw the Devil, District 13, the first one, not the second one, right? All of these films, and the people are like, oh, I'm not watching that, it's subtitled. Why? It's a fucking class film. Don't be a cunt. Don't be a cunt.
But when I went in,
so aggro about it. Oh, I hated it. I'd be standing in the shop going, I fucking hate you. Just watch the film. Oh, sorry.
when I went into Extravision, I bought Headhunters on Blu-ray, and it was a rental copy. I actually asked him, man, do you have any copies? He goes, we actually have one copy, and I'm surprised you asked for it. I was like, when I was leaving, I realised, and this annoyed me that Extravision had to do this, so it annoyed me that the public were responsible for this, but also responsible for leaving a sticker mark on my fucking DVD. It had subtitles in a big sticker stuck on the front, so that people pick it up and go, ooh, I can't get this. I thought, fuck you. Get it and be surprised.
Do you know what the amazing thing was? We had those stickers on the DVDs, and people still brought them up and asked for these subtitles.
Fuck's sake.
They're bad humans. They're bad people.
Do you know what's great though? I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, you had a couple of choices for video stores. Now it's pretty much just Extravision. You had 24-hour video and all that shit. Back then, you would never see any films that had subtitles. It was just all Hollywood. And I'm not one of these guys who hates Hollywood. I love Hollywood. I love some of the stuff that's coming out of Hollywood, right? But the thing is, back then, you would never have found films like any of the films you guys mentioned today. You know what I mean? Because it was the mainstream or nothing. I had a friend actually who was mad into anime, and he could actually get that stuff from, I think it was 24-hour video, but only by asking at the counter. And they had that stuff underneath, you know?
Like porn.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was as taboo. Yeah.
So it's, as much as it's kind of degrading that you have all these films that have stickers on them saying, by the way, this has subtitles for all you fucking morons, right? In a way that's bad, but in another way it's great that those films are there in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there was some mainstream ones like fucking Seven Samurai and Cinema Paradiso and all. Like, they would have been subtitled but mainstream, but I think they were rare cases. I think that's what actually made them more unique, that there was only fucking 4 or 5 of them.
That's it. Yeah.
I hate I hate the Hunger Games. Alright, I'm just gonna say this now. When the Hunger Games came out in Extravision, we obviously had all the fucking prepubescent teens coming in, you know, going, do you have the Hunger Games? And you're like, yeah, you fucking slag, gonna be pregnant by the time you're fucking 15, right? And then we had the L ones coming in, you know, the fucking people who got stuck at dead-end jobs and they hate their lives because they're trapped in Ireland for the rest of their lives. So they read books like Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey so they can feel alive. They're cunts. Anyway, right, the Hunger Games. Do you have the Hunger Games? Yeah, we have it. Alright. Did you watch it? No. Why? It's brilliant. No, it's not. How do you know you haven't watched it? Because it's fucking shit. Right? I had this conversation and they'd be like, well, why don't you like the Hunger Games? And I was like, oh, because I have seen the Hunger Games before. Oh, did you? Yeah. Yeah, I saw it about 10 years ago. How? Well, it came out 10 years ago in a little country called Japan. It's called Battle Royale. You should watch it. What's that about? Well, it's about all these teenagers who have to kill each other to survive. They're forced to do it by the government. Yeah, but the Hunger Games is different. How? Because it's televised. Oh, that's the difference, is it? That's the difference. It's on TV. Fuck yourself. Fuck yourself. Yeah. Cunt.
The best thing I saw was a picture of Jules and Vincent from Pulp Fiction sitting in a car. And he goes, do you know what they call the Hunger Games in France? Battle Royale with cheese. Which is exactly what it is. But it's Battle Royale for kids, which is what it is. Now, I haven't seen it, and I actually am going to watch it, purely just to annoy myself and for the potential fact that it could be good, and fucking Jennifer Lawrence is in it, who I'll probably end up blowing a hole through my screen from tearing it off. So
I seen it in the pictures, and I think I did a video about this actually. It's, you know the way you always hear people saying the book is better than the film. Everybody says that about every book ever and every film ever. This is the only film I've ever actually agreed with that statement. Most people just say it to sound intelligent. The book was better. The book was better. It's like, we get it. You can read. You know what I mean? But in this case, the book is actually really, really, really decent, and the film is just, it's so subpar. Do you know what I mean? They took everything out of it. They took every ounce of depth out of the book to make this film, you know?
I'm sorry to interrupt, and obviously I know you have to go in a minute, I have to go in a minute, but that fucking absolute barren, gee-faced cunt bag that wrote the Hunger Games, Do you know she has a series of books called the Underland Chronicles?
That rings a bell. I don't know anything about it though.
The Underland Chronicles, where a boy goes into a mystical land inhabited by some humans and giant creatures. Alice in Wonderland, essentially.
Wow.
So she's just ripping off left, right, and centre, and it's just the whole battle royale thing. It just annoys me when people try and deny it. Just admit that it's the same film, same story.
It's battle royale / the Running Man.
Yeah, yeah. And then people turn around and say like, oh well, the Running Man, blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, the Running Man came out first, but there are differences between the Running Man.
No, there's huge differences. Yeah. You go back a few years. I think the 70s, Death Race 2000. Again, it's another film about reality TV and about people basically being forced to kill for the public's entertainment. It's not as if any one of these films can take the credit for that one film plot.
Sorry, they actually remade Battle Royale already before The Hunger Games. Now this is a very vague remake, but there's a movie in 2001, which is the year after Battle Royale, called Series 7: The Contenders.
Yes.
And it's basically all over America, 7 people are selected for this show called The Contenders, and it's the 7th season of it, where you basically just have to all kill each other.
Yeah.
But you're all over like the country, so you can just be anywhere, and you're really regular people, it's like house moms and all, who are just like, oh, I was picked for it, and they're like loading up shotguns and shit. They're just all over the city looking at each other. You know, it's fairly tame. It's a really tongue-in-cheek comedy.
Yeah.
But you could almost say that's basically what The Hunger Games is, only on a way smaller scale.
There's tipping your hat to something that's come before. You know, like Tarantino does it an awful lot. But there's a very fine line between that and just direct fucking plagiarism.
I had a guy come in to get The Hunger Games, and I was telling him about Battle Royale. He was really interested in Battle Royale. And then I mentioned the fact that it was subtitled. He's like, oh, I wouldn't watch that. I couldn't be able to read it. I'm like, you fucking rapist, shit.
That's full circle now. Absolute cunts. It all comes down to subtitle films.
And it annoys me because they're some of the greatest films you'll ever watch. But anyway.
It just has that kind of B movie.
Did he just die?
I think so, yeah. Me and Kelly joined this video call.
It was getting me to sign in again.
You're here twice, which is very strange.
This is Google's fucking tactics again. They're getting more people using Google Plus, but it's not really more people. It's the same people using it twice.
You know, we got fucking 75 copies of Law Abiding Citizen or something ridiculous like that. We get one copy of a class film. Like,
I actually like Law Abiding Citizen.
Is that the one with what's his name? Jared
Butler, yeah.
Do you know what? I liked it right up until the ending.
Yeah.
Because it was like he all of a sudden was the villain, and I was like, what? He's been the hero. He's the fucking hero.
They wanted to make it Hollywood, so they're like, there's something I wanted to happen, and without saying it exactly, you'll know what I'm on about.
Yeah.
I think there should have been a bomb in the cello, just for an extra kind of fuck you, which would have been brilliant. Because he gets his own back on everyone except Jamie Foxx, really.
The name of that movie alone just sounded real boring. Law Abiding Citizen. Alright, so.
It's a terrible title.
Yeah, it's like, so it's just some chap stopping at the lights and pressing the button. And not killing people.
Here's a fun fact, Peter. It was done by F. Gary Gray, who did Friday. So to go from Friday to that is pretty fucking extreme.
Yeah. Friday
is one of the blackest films I've ever seen in my life. It's just so black. And the funny story is, me and shout out to John Daly here. Me and John Daly watched that film in his house one day. Really, really, really funny movie. And we always thought the term black comedy meant Friday. The film's like Friday, you know, comedy with black people. So we watched the film Secretary, which is a black comedy.
No where's all the blacks?
Whatsoever. No black people whatsoever. And Maggie Gyllenhaal banging herself off. Finger banging herself off in the jacks after James Spader jizzed all over her shirt. Me, John Daly, Anthony Kelly, sitting in my gaff watching that film going, where's Chris Rock? Where's Chris Tucker? Like, do you know what I mean? This shit is fucking ridiculous.
The only black in it, I think, is the bruises on her arse after being caned.
It's just, and the worms. What's the crack with that? Strange. Good film, but strange film. Strange.
It is.
Speaking of which, Event Horizon. Ever see that?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Event Horizon, what's his name? Sam Neill? Oh, we've lost Kevin again, have we?
Sounds good again. What?
I'll keep talking about Event Horizon anyway while he fiddles around.
Grazie.
Basically, that's the classic haunted house in space.
Mhm.
It's about this spaceship. It's probably 10 years since I've seen it. Basically, it's one of them things where something has gone wrong, and people have gone out to this ship to see what's gone wrong, to figure out what's happened. It's something to do with black hole technology. They use technology to create black holes to travel great distances across the universe. But obviously, something goes wrong, and it's something along the lines of, I think they open a doorway to hell or something like that. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but it's a classic horror.
Yeah, I'll give it a look. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay, can you hear me?
There you go. Yes,
Hey!
I heard everything you said there, and I totally agree. Event Horizon is fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit down and watch it.
it's well worth watching.
It's kind of dated effects-wise.
Has it? Yeah.
There's a bit at the start where it's meant to be kind of zero gravity, and obviously at the time people were sitting there going, "I'm literally watching real life now." But when you look back at it, you're going, "This is shitter than PlayStation 1 graphics."
Okay.
Because there's a part where there's like a bottle of water floating around, and it's just this fucking. It looks like the T1000 is leaking out of it. It just looks really shitty.
Oh.
But as a film itself, though, it's brilliant. And actually, someone made up a complete bullshit thing, and I got really excited for it when they said that the original Event Horizon was NC-17, and that they cut out loads of violence, and they showed loads of screenshots, and I thought, holy shit, this is barbaric stuff. This is going to be amazing. Turns out there's a bit at the end where there's a big flash, and there's tons of images. But that's actually, they just got the screenshots from all of those scenes and made it look like that there's deleted scenes.
Really, really quick glimpses of extreme violence, like a fist going down someone's throat or something like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
There's like loads of things like that, but what they did was they edited it to make it look like, or they took the screenshots to make it look like, oh yeah, there's an alternate version out there.
Yeah.
And my hopes were flying up, but unfortunately that's not the case.
Yeah.
Fucking scumbags. I hate when people do that. Happened to me with a porno once. Thought I was about to watch what's her name? You're watching The Big Bang Theory. I thought I was about to see her getting, but no, it wasn't her. Shocking stuff. Anyway, like this is again, I'm going off topic, but I have to get this out there because I need to tell everyone. I never tell you my granddad works on films. Well, he's retired now, but he used to work on movies.
Oh.
He worked with like Mel Gibson on Braveheart. He worked on The Tudors. He worked in TV, stuff like that. He does set design and set dressing and things like that.
Wow.
He worked on. Has anyone seen Haywire?
Yes.
I actually haven't watched it yet.
Really good.
Michael Fassbender. Yeah, he worked on that. And very quick story on that. He asked him. He said, "Do you want me to do 2 sets? Do you want me to dress the set for 2 takes? Because every time I'm told to do it once, he's end up having to do it again, and I have to come in and fix it." No. They've been practicing for weeks. They know what they're doing. They'll only need to do it once. Shot the first take. He gets a phone call. Can you come back in and redress the set? We need to do another take on that fight scene again.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I told you this was going to happen, but you didn't fucking listen. But he also, when I was talking to him about the new Superman, I said, I was telling my mum, I was like, "Oh, see the new Superman, Henry Cavill, he was in The Tudors." And my granddad goes, "Here's a look at him there," and I showed him the picture. He goes, "Ah, that Henry." And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Oh yeah, sure, me and him went down and had a few points there when the second season of The Tudors wrapped. We went down for a few drinks, you know."
Wow.
I was like, "Hang on, you hung out with the new Superman?" He's like, "Oh, me and Henry, yeah, we used to go for we used to go for lunch every now and again together and just have a chat about what life was like in Dublin a couple of years ago and all that stuff." And I was like, "What? you know Superman?" But my point of bringing all this up was that he worked on a Stanley Kubrick film. He worked on Barry Lyndon.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, he did set design on that. Said Stanley Kubrick was one of the biggest pricks he ever met in his life. Absolute arsehole. He's like, he's a fucking gobshite. And I was like, "Well, he's dead now." And he goes, "Yeah, he was a fucking gobshite." He said, "I couldn't stand him, man. Absolute arsehole."
I can understand why,
Fair enough.
but I love
So
him
my
still.
grand-
Yeah, he's one of those fucking genius, tortured artist type guys.
Oh yeah, no, but my granddad just thought he was a gimp.
The general impression is that he's a prick. Yeah.
So I just thought that was class. So, yeah. Anyway, so sorry about that segue. That's probably why you made the video, but I just wanted to let you know. My number 1 is the original 1970s version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
They wanted that to be PG when they made it.
Fantastic.
I know, yeah. I think that's mad. Like they were going for a PG kind of rating, and that's why the violence was all off screen.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
then you watch the film, you're like, no, children should never see this movie. This will scar them for life.
You wonder
it's
why
just
they
a
wanted a
class film.
PG.
PG. Well, see.
Nowadays, you see it a lot nowadays with films like, let's say, Predators. Was Predators 15s?
Yeah.
With the likes of that, you can say, okay, money. They want to fucking show this to more people. If it was 18s, less people would see it. That's the logic. I don't agree with it. But the logic is that they'll make more money. Whereas in reality, if you made a good 18s Predators, more people would see it. More people over 18. Do you know what I mean? And you'd make more money. But you kind of, you lower it down to 15s and you're losing something, you know? And that's what I would have said about that. Why would, I can't, because back in the, what would it be? It was the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
In the 70s, they didn't give a fuck about stuff like that. They made a shit ton of Blade and 18s films every year. And they didn't care about, 15-year-olds won't be able to see this, we better make it 15s. Why did they Blade and think they'd make that PG?
I think TV played a big part at the time. Cause there's a film, I think it's 71, it came out, called Duel. And it's the first Steven Spielberg
I've
film.
seen it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was made for TV, but it was so good they put it in cinemas.
Right. Have you
But
seen it,
I think
Matthew?
No.
It's kind of the story of roadkill in a way. Which, by the way, shout out to Paul Walker, who unfortunately passed there the other day. But by the time this video is out, it didn't really happen yet. So we just predicted the future, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true.
We'll break the fourth wall to give a nice little dedication to Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Although, if anyone believes that this video was all done in one take, they're going to be wondering how the fuck I managed to get changed without moving.
With roadkill, anyway, it's kind of they're getting chased by a lunatic in a truck, but there's sort of a motive behind it. They played a prank on him, and he's kind of going, yeah, I'm not letting you away with it. With Duel, it's just a guy who's trying to get home, and it's this massive, I suppose it's an oil truck chasing after him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because they're kind of overtaking each other back and forth, and he's getting annoyed. He's like, this guy's wrecking my head, so he goes to get petrol, but the truck just won't leave him alone. You never, ever, like, this is a kind of good off-screen thing, is that you never see what the driver looks like or anything like that. You're just pretty much on edge. It's 90 minutes long, and 75 minutes of it is car chasing.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just kind of him sorting stuff out. But
I have seen that, actually. Yeah, I have seen
yeah,
that.
it's absolutely fantastic.
Thinking back,
What I liked about it was it was straight to TV, and then it went to the cinema because they were like, this is unbelievable, especially because they wanted to do it all on green screens. Spielberg said, no, we're doing this with real cars. I think because that was in the early 70s, that might have sparked people to go, geez, there's a big audience on TV, and that could move to theaters. So I think we'll make this for TV, and if it's good, it'll go to theaters. And then I think people saw that and went, you can fuck off if you think this is getting on TV. Straight into the theaters, X-rated, fuck off.
I just when we were talking about the rating and stuff, like even looking at the parents' guide on IMDb for this movie, sex and nudity, none, not even a reference. Profanity, hardly any. One use of shit, one use of damn, son of a bitch, and goddamn, and two uses of bitch. Wine and liquor shown variously in the background. The man appears to be drunk. Actually very tame, do you know what I mean, compared to...
Does it contain scenes of mild peril?
Yes, mild peril would be an understatement.
When you were mentioning AVP there, and now that you're going about the rating systems, I pissed myself laughing when I saw this. But Alien vs Predator, the first one, says contains scenes of violence, some language, and scenes of slime.
What?
What kind of fucking thing is that to put in it? If you check the MPA rating, they let people know that there's scenes of slime in it, which is just irrelevant.
Fucking hell.
Here's a sentence that will sound strange, but you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Steven Spielberg is one of the most underrated directors in the world.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because people will immediately go, oh, Spielberg film, that's going to be shit, Hollywood, all that.
Yeah.
He deserves the fucking credit he gets. He does fucking unbelievable films.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, I don't like Spielberg, it's like, oh, because you've heard of him, you can fuck off then.
Yeah. People assume family-friendly Hollywood, big money movie that it's not going to have any depth to it. Then you watch a Spielberg film and you're like, holy shit, the man is a genius. And something I love about him, and it's just something so small, something I love about him and also Scorsese. I love when directors refer to movies as pictures. They don't call them movies, they call them pictures.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm like, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, that guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That guy is a director. He's not just in it for the money. That guy, he has a love for cinema.
He has a respect for the medium.
Yeah. They call it a picture, yeah. So I know, Liam, you have to go collect your
Firstborn.
your
Yep.
son, yeah. And I have to go watch Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, fuck. Forgot that was out today.
Yeah,
I'll be
so
obtaining that.
apparently it gets crazy. So I'm also gonna go diddle the wife, and yeah. So please cut that out. Fuck.
If Kevin's going to be another 5 minutes, we could do it already, yeah.
Alright, so I'll
Yeah.
start this off. Well, you know what's gonna happen, don't you? Kev's gonna join this broadcast halfway through and be like, alright lads! And we're like,
Yeah. And have 3 fucking weird Christmas songs no one's ever heard of before.
alright, welcome to our top 3 Christmas songs. It's getting close to that time of the year where everyone tends to like the people around them, buys them gifts, and then on Christmas Day,
Yeah, you can hear me, yeah?
fucking told you that was gonna happen. I told you!
I think I missed something brilliant, did I?
No, we were
You were
like,
about to miss something brilliant.